On this episode of Mythbusters,
1.
duck, cover, and hang on, because we've got a killer cocktail of lethal littering
My weapon of choice, a potentially lethal slush drink.
and high-flying action movie action.
Get to the chopper, Glass!
And first up,
Looks harmless enough, doesn't it? Could be deadly.
can a soda cup thrown from a car really kill an oncoming driver?
Time to inspect the wound.
Then from helicopter heaves to fingertip grips, can film Fall Guys really hang on Hollywood style?
I would love to see the action hero that can hang on to that.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage
Here comes chaos.
and Jamie Hyneman.
Relax. This won't hurt a bit.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
Bye-bye!
Joining them, Carrie Byron,
High explosives and electricity. Woo!
Tori Belleci,
Crashes and fire. This is awesome.
Grant Imahara,
Hooray!
and featuring Jesse Combs.
That was awesome!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Close your eyes. I'm going to paint you a picture with words.
Okay.
I'm driving down the highway at highway speeds. I've just gone to a drive-in and I've gotten a soda in a styrofoam cup. And it's the wrong soda.
Oh, you hate that.
I know. So I hurl the soda out the window, being a jerk, and it hits a car going in the opposite direction, also at highway speeds, pierces the windshield right in front of the driver, and kills her.
A styrofoam cup does that?
I know.
That is crazy.
As if simply littering wasn't bad enough, the villain of this myth allegedly killed the driver of an oncoming car with a styrofoam soda cup. Whilst traveling at highway speeds, our trash-happy perpetrator tossed his unfinished drink out of the window, which supposedly pierced the windshield of an innocent drive-by bystander with enough force to take them out permanently.
Okay, now I want to paint you a word picture.
I'm not going to close my eyes, though.
That's fine. This is a quick one. We make a cannon that shoots a cup of soda. Huh?
Really? I somehow pictured two cars going at each other, jousting fashion, tossing cups out the window.
No. I figure we'll get exactly to that place. But first, we need to know what the cup is filled with. Is it soda? Is it soda and ice? Is it ice alone? Is it a slush drink? We have to determine what filling has the most power, and what's better for that than a cannon?
Well, all right then.
I thought you'd like it.
So before the highway trash jousting can begin,
I think that was a hit.
the guys are going to arm themselves with an indoor air cannon the size of the Large Hadron Collider. Well, almost.
I'd say that ought to do it.
Their goal is to discover which of the various possible combinations of cup contents will impart the most force on impact. And speaking of the force, here's the Yoda of soda.
So there you have it, our potentially deadly styrofoam cup. Now, for the purposes of our experimentation, I'm going to want to know exactly how much energy this cup imparts to something it hits, whether it's empty or filled with different substances. How am I going to do that? With this, a load cell. This little button here can tell me when I hit it with something exactly how much energy is transferred from the object to the load cell. But here we got an object that's too big and a load cell that's too small, so I'm going to increase the surface area of my load cell by placing it between these two nice heavy steel plates. Now, when this cup hits this first steel plate, that will transfer the energy to the button and tell me exactly how much energy this potentially lethal cup might have. It's ready.
With the force plate in place, the guys will be able to accurately compare the impact of each cup fired from the cannon.
Off at a rakish angle, I like it. So this is how this works. We've got our specially made pressure tank with a built-in fast-acting valve. Now when we open that valve, all that air comes out at high speed, heads straight down the barrel. Our cup comes out the end, hits this plate, pushes on the load cell. Bob's your uncle.
So, Robert's your mother's brother.
Every target needs a motivation. Yeah.
And Jamie is the light at the end of the tunnel. But before Jamie gets a face full of soda, 3D Jamie wants to check the cannon is working with some alternative ammunition.
Bet you've never seen a 100-mile-an-hour feather boa before.
An interesting choice, and surely a world first.
Ready for test fire number 1 in 3, 2, 1.
Wow!
That thing's got a lot of kick to it.
That's my new favorite toy.
So Fall Guys, what are we, testing myths about 80s TV shows?
Ooh, can we do A-Team next?
Yes and no. Yes, we can get to the A-Team, and no, we are not testing myths about 80s TV shows. We're actually going to test the myths about falling, or more accurately, not falling.
So you're talking about like the classic Hollywood scenario where somebody's hanging on to a high edge using nothing but their fingertips.
Exactly.
This sounds awesome.
To cling on by your fingertips is a classic silver screen cliche. Apparently, in any action movie, the hero can hang on indefinitely. But are any of the many variations really viable? To find out, the team will take on 2 of the most common. First, can you really just hang on until help comes along? Then, hauling yourself into a helicopter. Is it fact or film fiction?
You guys, I have the perfect place to test this. There's a fire training tower in Pleasanton. It's got ledges all around, easily accessible rooftop, and it's pretty tall.
Well, as far as the hang time test goes, there's one thing I'd like to add, and that's edge thickness, and see how that affects how long you can hold on to.
Okay, well, we can build something that clamps onto the ledge that we can easily adjust from 4 inches to ½ an inch. Then we can correlate hang time to ledge thickness.
Well, since we're going to be working from heights, it's going to be pretty dangerous. So why don't we get a professional climber to come in? That way we'll be belayed. So if we do fall, no one gets hurt.
And you know, we can use him to see how well a professional does compared to us average Joes.
What are we waiting for?
So the team head on out to hang out at the perfect place to, you know, hang out.
All right, now when we talked about this in the blueprint room, it seemed pretty straightforward. Whoa, this is high. I mean, we just grab onto an edge and see how long we can hang on. But now, standing on top of the 75-foot building, I'm wondering, is this really necessary? I mean, can't we just test this hanging off a door frame?
Well, not really, because a key component of this myth is motivation, and hanging from a great height will ramp up the fear factor. But just in case that's not enough, here's a quick demo.
So we've got the perfect building for our experiment. The only thing that we're missing is adrenaline. Now, undoubtedly, when you're hanging on for your life, adrenaline is going to give you that little extra boost of oxygen and sugar that might help you hang on long enough for help to arrive. Now, just to get our juices flowing, we're going to demonstrate for you what would happen if something went horribly, horribly wrong with our old pal Buster. Look out below!
Buster is falling from 70 feet. By the time he gets to the ground, he's going to be traveling at 45 miles an hour. But I mean, look at him right now. He actually looks pretty good. Oh, except for that. Ooh. This is the producer's idea of motivation. What is wrong with these people?
With the team's nerves suitably primed, let's find out what's on the agenda.
So the first thing we're going to test is how long you can hang on to a ledge. And to do that, I've built this, the Ledge-O-Matic. It's fully adjustable, so we can block off a controlled amount of ledge each time. And we'll get progressively smaller and smaller until we can no longer hang on. Then we'll have a good idea of how long an average Joe can hang on to a ledge.
But before the action begins, let's meet the man who'll be pulling the piñata strings.
Anybody got a bat?
Aaron, a professional climber, is not only helping the team with their safety protocols.
You're going to come over the edge, and then what I want you to do is say tension.
He's set up the belay system so it won't support the climber's weight, at least until they fall.
Good.
Yeah, it feels real good.
Tori, you're the guinea pig.
No, I'm no stranger to heights. I mean, I've hung off of a ski lift. I was stuck. See that?
Okay.
I jumped through awnings. I've even jumped off of a 200-foot bridge. However, it never fails. Getting this close to the edge, you can't help it. Your nerves kick in. But I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, the rope could break, and yeah, you could fall. But I mean, you know, you could probably survive a 75-foot fall.
Now, in the movies, people hang off of all shapes and sizes of ledges, and we are going to do the same. The goal is to come up with a set of data that correlates ledge thickness to hang time.
Hook me in.
And to start off with, we're going to use a nice fat ledge.
I'm gonna double check it just in case.
Yep, the ledge width will be starting at 4 inches, which should be plenty of room. Even for Fat Finger Belechi.
Getting into position.
Good luck, buddy.
Man, this is kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. Okay.
Okay, so this is Tori test, 4 inches. Ready? Go.
Hanging!
How you feeling?
Good.
Don't let go.
But even with plenty of room to get a comfortable grip, after just 30 seconds, the strain begins to show.
How you feeling? Good?
Fine. Concentrate.
Sorry.
And as Adam once said,
Gravity, man. It's not just a good idea, it's the law.
so unlike a Hollywood hero, Tori will inevitably fall. But exactly how that happens is a painful surprise.
You all right?
I think you should be glad that I was a guinea pig. Oh, I'm bleeding all over like...
If you're squeamish, look away, because when the damage is inspected, a deep gash is the result. But looking at this, it could have been much worse. Tori fell a full story before landing on a ledge, his shin taking the full force of the blow.
Yeah, when I saw blood pouring out my pant legs, I knew it might be bad.
Can a cup of soda thrown from a passing car pierce your windshield and kill you? To find out, Adam and Jamie first want to know which of the potential cup contents has the most forceful impact. How? Well, here's Adam with some science-y stuff.
Now, I've already explained that we're collecting the data about how much force our cups impart on this little load cell right here. But how does that work? It works when a little piezo element in here gets hit and creates a small amount of electricity, which is then collected by this National Instruments box right here. This box then sends that data over to David in his computer, who then informs me and Jamie of exactly how much force each of our cups imparts when it hits the target.
It's about to get really messy in here, so I'm going to take some precautions.
With the shop resembling a scene from Dexter, the wet work can begin. But before the testing proper, the guys want a muzzle velocity that simulates 2 cars approaching each other at highway speeds. A cumulative total of 130 miles per hour. So let's fire her up and find out what she can do.
Firing in 3, 2, 1.
That was a lot of force.
Yep, a lot of force, and a lot of fast.
190 miles per hour.
That's only at 20 psi.
It's a little bit fast for us.
And to dial that back, Jamie has a neat idea that accounts for the fact that the cups will vary in mass.
For these tests to be valid, all the cups have to hit their target at about the same speed. So after a lot of fussing around, I figured out that I can precisely tune the speed by the placement of the cup in the barrel. Okay, full cup of ice, 3 feet 8 inches, and that's how we're dialing it in. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
The final speed was 134 miles an hour. It's perfect.
So with their cannon firing at a constant speed, we'll soon find out who pulls the hardest soda cup punch.
Here's a little story I like to call, "Oh, this soda's no good. They didn't put any ice in it. I'm gonna throw it out the window."
1 cup full of soda, wrapped in plastic, shot out of a cannon at 130 miles per hour. Coming right up.
632 grams. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
That's too much fun. Well, your laminated face is holding up quite well.
So I see.
You should consider doing that in real life.
Laminating my face.
Yeah. I just love looking at these like this. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Can you imagine what that'd feel like if that actually hit your head?
Final speed, 132 miles an hour. Awesome. What was the force?
3668.
That's the number to beat. Weighing in at 632 grams, a full cup of soda, traveling at 132 miles per hour, has 3,668 pounds of force. What's next?
Here's a little story I like to call, oh, I've ordered the soda, and I thought I got what I wanted, but I didn't order cherry cola, and this tastes like crap. So I'm gonna throw it all the way out the window.
In the red corner, weighing in at
649 grams.
is a mixed cup of soda and ice. Let's load her up.
That remind you of working with cows on the farm?
It does, actually. Okay, Bessie. It's gonna be all right. Firing soda and ice in 3, 2, 1.
It's not getting old.
No.
Wow. Speed was 134 miles an hour. What was the force?
4331.
4331. That's pretty significant.
Interesting. Despite a small difference in mass, there was a significant difference in the force of the impact. What's next on the menu of mayhem?
Blue slush. It's basically half ice, half liquid, all ground up real fine. Whether that translates to a higher impact or not, I don't know. Personally, I think it's all about the mass, but that's what we're going to test to find out.
Jamie's correct. Newtonian physics tells us, in a perfect world, providing they're all traveling at the same speed, the cup with the most mass will have the largest impact. And this puppy, if only just, is the heavyweight of the litter.
You think there'll be a difference between the blue stuff and the red stuff?
Only by a few photons. Slush drink in 3, 2, 1.
That is intense. That's what's making your lips blue. Awesome. Well, the speed is perfect at 134 miles an hour. David, what was our force?
4386.
Dude, I was hoping that would be the case.
So in the soda cup showdown, the slush packed the biggest punch. Why? Well, it could be the extra mass, or it could be that the slush mixture, made up of fine slivers of ice and liquid, enables it to transfer more of its kinetic energy to the target than the other contenders. Either way, we have a winner. The cup with the heaviest hit and the prettiest splash is the slush.
Well, Jamie's face has taken a proper pummeling. We have fired every combination of soda and ice that we can think of, and we've learned 3 things. One is that this room now looks like a frat house during the Roaring 20s when Jamie was in college. 2 is that Jamie doesn't seem to mind a mess in his shop as long as it's in the name of science. And 3, the most amount of force expended at Jamie's face, well, actually our load cell, was with the slush drink. That's what we're taking on the road.
Here he goes.
In the Fall Guy myth, Tori has once again put his body on the line.
All in the name of science.
But the science must go on.
Are you bleeding in my car?
No.
So while Tori takes a trip to ER to stitch up the leak in his leg,
Talk about motivation not to let go.
Bleeding all over like...
Grant and Jesse are moving on.
My prediction is I will hang on for 10 minutes at least, and then you'll see the traces of my fingernails going down the wall.
With the adrenaline pumping and the ledge narrowing,
That's 3 inches.
Iron Grip Imahara is hooked in and out on a limb.
Okay, climbing.
You hanging?
Go.
Starting.
And with the 3-inch ledge not even close to cramping his style, his time is similar to Tori's.
Okay, here I go. Ow.
1 minute and 3 seconds.
Really? Fairly consistent.
Consistent times? Sure. But bear in mind the myth is about hanging on indefinitely.
Does this harness make me look heavy?
And our average Joes are consistently falling.
All right, you ready for 2 inches?
Look, my fingers aren't even 2 inches long. Of course I'm ready for 2 inches.
Timer is started.
Despite the further narrowing, Jessie has plenty of room to work with. And once again, her time is in that 1-minute slot.
Minute 6.
Heck yeah.
You don't even look
Yeah, they're
tired.
starting to slip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here I go.
Nice! 1 minute 17. Woo! So, we are halfway done with our testing. And so far, we've established an average hang time for the average Joe of 60 seconds. Now, to make sure that muscle fatigue is not a factor, we're gonna get a massage for science. Now, in all seriousness, this is not just a massage. A lot of science goes into physical therapy, particularly for climbers. These muscles that are in your fingers, they're optimized for fine motor movement, such as riding, for example. When you get to these deep finger flexors that are in your forearm, they're not meant to take your entire body weight, which is why it's all the more important for top performance to give them a little attention here. How's it going, Jessie?
We're still working on it.
Are you saying it's not my turn?
Yes, patience, young man, patience.
With the chores out of the way, it's back up top for more action movie action.
Now, the 2 inches wasn't that bad. I mean, I was able to hang on for over a minute. But now we're gonna work our way down to 1 inch, and this is where it's really gonna start getting challenging. So see what happens.
At 1 inch, the guys really are down to a fingertip grip. Jessie is about to find out if hanging on to that slimmest of margins is movie make-believe or a real-life possibility.
Dude, this hurts way much more.
Hang on there, Jessie.
All right, here I go.
33 seconds.
That is much, much more difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep, really. It was less than half the hang time of the previous test, when ledge width wasn't a factor, which doesn't bode well for Grant, because he's up next and he's running out of room.
That, my friends, is 1/2 of 1 inch. And that is about how much I can hang on. I'm predicting a lot of pain, but not for very long. Let's do this. Okay.
But he can't turn that steely determination into an iron grip.
Oh my God. This is crazy.
Because he simply can't get a grip.
You ready?
I'm so ready.
Ah!
Nothing. Not even a second.
Ow!
And his time reflects that.
I would love to see the action hero that can hang on to that. You know, you try and get yourself in the mindset like, I've got to hang on to this or I'm gonna fall or die. Ah! But it's not really a choice with a 1/2 inch ledge. I mean, the second I put my weight on there, pow, all my fingers exploded and then I'm flying through the air. And it was just that quick. No way, impossible.
So in direct contradiction to the movies, if you find yourself hanging on by your fingernails, you're not hanging on for very long.
Nothing.
And even with room to work with, it's a tough task. In a real-life situation, you'd better hope help arrives Hollywood style, fast and in the nick of time. But this is an action movie myth. How would a Hollywood hero cope? So move over Average Joe and Average Jessie and step up Action Man Aaron.
That's why I'm here.
First up, Aaron tackles the 1 inch ledge.
Okay, start.
And we're off and running.
And he significantly improves on Jessie's time.
You're shaking.
Okay.
Oh!
Woo! 48 seconds. Nice.
But what's really impressive is Aaron's 1/2 inch performance.
Yeah, it's tiny, isn't it?
Remember, Grant couldn't hold on for a single second.
Okay.
Okay. He's hanging in there.
You're doing awesome. I can't believe you're still hanging on.
Oh! Nice! 14 seconds.
That was great! All right, so even if you're a super strong climber, you only got about 14 seconds before you fall off a super skinny ledge.
Yeah, I mean, this whole idea that you can hang on indefinitely in action movies, totally busted.
Yeah, busted. How much longer do you think you can hang for?
Not long. Me neither.
In their quest to test soda cup lethality,
1.
Adam and Jamie have spent an afternoon firing drinks out of an air cannon. And a laminated picture of Jamie. As you do.
I think your face is holding up surprisingly well.
Yeah, I don't usually react when I get hit in the face.
And so far, they've seen that the slush drink is the heaviest hitter. But is that power enough to penetrate a windshield and give the driver a severe case of death?
Moving on.
I don't see why not. We have already determined the awesome power of non-trademark blue slush drink.
Well, what's next then?
Well, I think it's exactly what you stated at the beginning. We line two cars up facing each other, race towards each other jousting style at highway speeds, and I hurl a cup of blue slush drink right at your windshield.
I don't think that'd be a good idea. Let's say we hang a windshield off to the side of my car and we aim the soda at that.
Done. Let's do it.
And first up, down by the bay shore with a circular saw, savagely salvages some windshields. Or at least tries to.
Well, I'm feeling pretty beat. I haven't even got this windshield out, and already it's broken in like 4 different places. 6. I'm starting to think that there might be a better source for windshields. Isn't this simpler? I think so.
With his handy home delivery of windshields, Adam goes to work. By hanging them off the side of the truck and placing Buster in the hot seat,
Our crash test dummy will sit here.
they'll be able to test the myth in safety. Well, safe for some. You know it's going to be a bad day when you're painted bullseye red.
This may sting a little.
And out on location, it's time to paint a picture.
Here's how this whole thing's gonna play out. I'm gonna play the role of the passenger careening down the freeway at 60 miles an hour, sucking on a slush drink. I just got it, let's say the drive-through. Hey, that's not the one I ordered, I'll say, and cavalierly I will throw it out the window.
Flies through the air and smack, it hits our windshield.
If our cup happens to make it through our windshield and hit into Buster, well, we're going to have strategically placed shock watch stickers on both his chest and his head.
And that way we'll know whether he got hurt.
In case you've not seen them before, Shock Watch stickers are old friends of the show. They're a simple but effective way of demonstrating how much trauma Buster is exposed to. Any shock force above a certain value, from 50 to 150 Gs, causes them to break and register. So, Buster's ready. The course is ready. And after a couple of dry drive-bys, our drivers are ready.
Beautiful.
Looks harmless enough, doesn't it? Could be deadly.
With blue slush in hand, let the lethal litter jousting begin.
Jamie, are you ready to go?
I'm in position and ready to go.
Jamie in the truck and our perfectly tame racing car driver in the car will take this first run at a cruisy 40 miles per hour.
40-mile-per-hour run with a real slush drink.
In 3, 2,
1, go.
In the next test, they'll be facing off at a more realistic highway speed of 60 miles an hour. But for the moment, Adam's just getting his eye in.
A little bit closer, Stig.
I think I might have hit it! Dude!
That's a hit. Look at that.
Wow, and that's only 40 miles an hour.
At 40 miles per hour, that is spooky promising for this. That was just a test run, and I didn't fully hit the windshield, and you're seeing a kind of shocking amount of damage from our 40-mile-per-hour run. That's awesome.
I think we can tighten a lot of this up. I think Jamie could drive a little bit closer to the cones. I think my aim will get better as we do this.
I love this race. But right now, I feel pretty good about this one.
Controlled mayhem? Check. Chance of science? Aye. Happy Mythbusters? Confirmed. Forecast? Ramping it up.
My vehicle, experimental. My weapon of choice, a potentially lethal slush drink.
This is 60 miles an hour, styrofoam cup with slush drink in 3, 2, 1, go! Very exciting. Looking really good. Yeah! I think that was a perfect hit. Oh!
I don't know about you, but that'd kind of bum me out.
That's a bullseye of bullseyes. Nicely done.
Perfect hit. The cup was aimed straight at Buster. So how did he do?
Checking Buster's vitals.
I can see them. They're all clean.
Yeah, he didn't take any lethal damage, but hell, if that happened to your car, you'd be a very unhappy, probably unsafe driver.
Well, not to mention the fact that you might well have a crash afterwards because you can't see anything.
Exactly.
There's no doubt the impact would have caused a crash. But incredibly, Buster seems to have escaped direct injury. And check out the big brain on Jamie, because he knows why.
This windshield, like all windshields these days, is made out of laminated glass. What's that mean? Well, what they do is they take two sheets of glass and bond it together with a rubbery plastic in between. And that way, even though the glass goes all blotto like it does here, that membrane holds everything together. In fact, you can see on our high-speed camera how it ballooned out in the back when it got hit, but it didn't get a hole in it. Of course, sooner or later, we're going to put a hole in it.
So there's one more thing I want to test.
What's that?
It is a movie classic. The hero is rescued by a helicopter. However, the helicopter does not have time to land.
Right, he has to grab onto the skid, pull himself up and over and into the cabin, despite the downdraft from the blades and the onrushing air as the helicopter flies away.
That's a great myth, but nobody's gonna let us hang from a real helicopter.
You're right, and that is why we're going to build our own helicopter.
Oh, you mean like make a mock-up helicopter with skids and everything, and then put a fan in front of it that blows 80-mile-an-hour winds, just like cruising speed of a real helicopter.
It's like you're reading my mind. And then what we'll do is we'll measure the downdraft created by a helicopter, and that'll transfer into a weight that we'll wear while we're experimenting.
Perfect. Let's not hover around here anymore.
So to get a head start on the myth of the chopper climb,
This is how do we make it the Grant ahead?
Tori once again makes a new head for Grant.
Hey, it's been a robot. That's enough out of you. One thing we haven't really talked about with holding on to the skid of a helicopter is the downforce created by the rotor blades. That might be a lot of air pressure that could potentially knock you off. So we need to figure out a way to measure that downforce. So what I have here is Grant's head and shoulders. This is gonna give us the same surface area as somebody holding on to the helicopter skids. Now, I've attached Grant to the scale, so that way if there's any change in the downforce, we'll be able to measure it. Works.
Now, obviously, the most direct way to test this myth would be to try to hang from a helicopter while it's flying. But unfortunately, the insurers tell us it's too dangerous. But don't worry, because we have a cunning plan which still involves a real helicopter. And we've enlisted the help of Making Air helicopters to test this myth.
So they're about to find out how much downdraft there is by hovering directly overhead the head.
Look at that. It's increasing to 500 or now 700 as it's getting away from the center of the helicopter.
When Grant's head on a scale is near the outer circumference of the rotor blades,
Now it's at 900.
the downdraft peaks at almost a kilo. But the myth is all about climbing up onto the skids.
We want the skid to be just above scale.
Bring him in a little closer.
And in close, the downforce is surprisingly small.
Yeah, look at that. It goes down to about 50 grams.
Really?
So it's roughly around 50 to 80 grams when he's just hovering.
Which is fairly insignificant. And even a sudden takeoff doesn't make much difference.
So it got up to a little over 100 grams on that one.
100 grams is nothing. You're close, way more than 100 grams.
So we just finished testing the downforce of the helicopter, and the results were very consistent. We had him hover above our scale. As he came down, the weight increased. However, it only got to 50 grams, which is nothing. I mean, your clothes weigh more than that. And at one point, we had him punch it as if he was taking off, and it peaked at about 130 grams. which is still not that much weight. So it looks like the downforce of the helicopter really isn't going to affect your ability to hang on to the skid.
So, in summary, and somewhat unexpectedly, the team can ignore the downdraft from the chopper blades and go to work at the next location.
Best commute ever.
No signs prohibiting heavy machinery or myth busting. Perfect. Because at the pool, they've got everything they need, including a cool chopper mock-up Jesse knocked up at the shop.
That's cool.
We got a helicopter.
That is awesome.
That's perfect.
All right, so it may not be a real helicopter, and a lot of it is made from plywood, but I'd have to say it's a pretty darn good helicopter for the amount of time I had.
Where's Rick and TC, man?
Most importantly, everything is to spec. These struts are 45 degrees, and the skids are 3-inch diameter tubing, just like a real helicopter.
Now, how many times have you watched in an action film somebody jump onto a helicopter and climb up as it's taking off? Now we get to try it. I mean, we're living out our action hero fantasies.
The idea is that we will be suspended over a pool. Buster PI ready for takeoff. That way, if we fall, we won't fall to our death. We'll just fall in the pool. We have liftoff. We have liftoff here. The goal is to hang on to the skid, pull yourself up and over and into the cockpit to safety. Oh, a little turbulence. Hang on, everybody, hang on.
But a set of realistic skids on a fake chopper is not the only obstacle the guys will encounter on their climb to safety.
Based on our test with the real helicopter, we know that the downward force at hover is minimal. But let's face it, this is an action movie. They have to fly away. How do you simulate flight at a swimming pool? With this. This is a 6-foot diameter fan blade connected to a 350 horsepower big block engine. It's capable of generating wind speeds of up to 95 miles per hour. That's enough to simulate the cruising speed of our helicopter and more than enough to test this myth. That's like an instant hurricane.
It might blow my clothes off.
Maybe you should wear 2 pairs.
Ladies, get ready.
Delicious Mythbusters non-trademark slush drink. Icy, fruity, blue, and potentially lethal. Use with caution.
Extreme caution. Because throwing one from your car at 60 miles per hour does this. Remember, we do it so you don't have to.
The Buster and I hope this provides a lesson in caution to anyone who would mishandle a slush drink. Not only is the primary damage to the windshield absolutely shocking, but the secondary damage, the effect of the driver not being able to see through the spiderwebbing on the windshield, would very likely cause a really bad accident. I would not have called that much damage. That is shocking.
It doesn't get much worse.
Well, if your name is Buster, it does get much worse, because they're going again.
This time we made sure our windshield stays firmly in place. Now, on our last test, the whole windshield collapsed and fell out. So in a sense, it was absorbing a lot of the shock by doing that. And if we secure the windshield and make sure it stays firmly in place, what I'm hoping for is that the projectile, when it hits it, will concentrate all its energy in one spot. And it might just make it all the way through it.
All right, I see them up ahead. I want a bullseye! I think that was a bullseye! Time to inspect the wound. Oh, wow! Look at that! I am blown away.
That is penetration.
Did we trip anything on the guy?
It doesn't look like it.
So despite the promising-looking penetration, the windshield once again successfully dissipated the energy of the impact. Buster got wet, not dead.
Looks to me like the windshield's actually taking a lot of the load. It's absorbing it.
Yeah.
Liquid makes it through, but it's more of a splash than some kind of a cohesive lump.
Look, I have no doubt that if you took a hit from just the cup hitting you in the head at 120 miles an hour, it would kill you. I think this windshield is protecting him sufficiently.
I do too.
Well, several destroyed windshields and several delicious slush drinks later, I'm pretty satisfied that a slush drink does not create a primary lethal hazard on the freeway. It's not going to penetrate your windshield and kill you.
Make no mistake, though, it creates a very serious set of secondary lethal hazards. One, it totally obliterates your ability to see through the windshield. Two, it covers you with sticky slush drink. Three, splinters of glass are covering your body and your face. All three of these things would be enough to cause a very, very serious accident. But as for the slush drink itself being lethal through a windshield, I say no. I say it's busted.
Busted, but the fun's not done.
We have liftoff here.
Jesse, Grant, and Tori are about to live out their action movie dreams. They want to know, a la Hollywood, can you hop into a helicopter?
All right, so this is what I think should happen, guys. We hang on, but we can't start doing any climbing until we actually hit the airstream.
Well, then the goal here is to climb up onto the skid, get yourself safely inside the helicopter without falling into the water.
All right, so who goes first?
Not it.
Not it.
I guess I'll go first.
Don't tell her about the piranhas.
I think I'm gonna do just fine. I got a good technique, and it's gonna get me up and over. It's just those winds that I'm quite curious about.
Yep, and it's those 80-mile-an-hour winds simulating a helicopter's cruising speed and the accurate undercarriage and skid structure that gives this test a seal of authenticity. But none of that stops stunt girl Jessie. She was slick, quick, and her technique looked like it was straight out of the stunt girl manual.
Nice job! You're like a little monkey.
Good one.
Okay, so those winds are pretty intense. I mean, look, it unfolded my pant leg.
Yeah, your shirt almost got blown.
We weren't kidding when we were talking about blowing our clothes off. This is pretty large tubing, so if you have little hands, it's going to be difficult to hang on to, because I could feel myself starting to kind of slide off. And then, once you got into the wind, I was like, the winds are insane. My ponytail sideways, my pant leg has come undone, my shirt almost flew off. And then when standing up on the skid, it's a little bit more difficult than you thought it would be, because you do have those pressing winds, but once you're in, you're safe.
The key to Jessie's success was speed. And if you throw in the fact that this test is all about strength to body weight ratio, being a lot lighter, she's got a big advantage over the guys. So, will they be able to match her?
All right, you ready?
That was nuts. I was hanging onto the skid, and as I was going out, I was like, yeah, this is fine. And then all of a sudden, I hit that wind, and I was like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna fall into the water. That was crazy.
Crazy? Sure, but also very achievable. And with Grant scrambling for safety, with just a wardrobe malfunction to worry about,
Get to the chopper, Grant!
the myth and the boys' deluded silver screen dreams are looking good.
Man, he wanted to live! I'm alive! I made it to the chopper!
See his shirt come up? Damn, thank God his pants didn't come off.
Take that, action heroes.
That was such a fun test, and it's possible to climb into a helicopter as it's taken off.
Yeah, but it's definitely not as easy as it looks in the action movies.
Well, so far, all of these Fall Guys myths are looking pretty good.
You know what? I think we did pretty good for a couple of average Joes.
Woo.
At this point, we've seen that while this might make it through a windshield, if it does, it's not going to hit you hard enough to kill you. Which begs the question, what would? That's where this comes in.
Yep, the soda cup of slushy will make a mess of your car. But smart, modern windshield design will prevent it from killing you directly. But can a can of soda? Cue the tense music.
Dun dun dun.
What's this aluminum soda can full of soda gonna do when it hits this windshield? Well, I think we're all in agreement that it's gonna go through. All right, James Franklin Hyneman, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go! The question is, what will it do to Buster? And I'll tell you, I'd be terrified to have this go through my windshield. Another in a long series of things. What the hell am I doing?
Missing is the short answer. Missing several times. And even the occasional hit is a mishit. But nothing, if not persistent, our Yodas of soda are.
It's all down to this one. Will I make it? Will I have the accuracy? Crap, I hope so. I think I hit it. A palpable hit.
Finally, a hit on the windshield. But Adam, using the sporting prowess he was born with, as in none, was wayward once again. A hit in the corner, near the frame, damaged the glass, but didn't threaten Buster. And with the team running out of windshields, they need a more accurate litter launching method.
Well, it's not a perfectly centered hit, but Jamie has, I think, a solution that he says is going to be more accurate than me throwing and hoping. I can't wait to see what it is.
Back at the shop, while Adam was preparing the windshield rig, it looked and sounded like Jamie was having fun.
Did you hear that? That's the sound of Mr. Hyneman having fun.
It's now clear what he was working on. And it's a clear case of don't try this at home.
It's pretty simple. We've got an air tank here, which is a modified fire extinguisher, a fast-acting valve, an elbow, and a tube. You put the soda in here, you press the switch, out comes the soda.
Wow,
I call it my little pop gun.
that is awesome.
Let's give it a shot.
All right.
Yep, in a strange mix of Mad Max and MacGyver, Jamie shoots at Buster with a can of soda from a shoulder-mounted air tank. All in aid of accurately hitting the target, which doesn't happen on the first go.
Ho-ho!
Well, that's a neat hole, but I need to hit the dude.
Yeah, you want to go again?
Again they go, but again, no dice.
A direct hit, but still didn't hit the dude.
Once again, Buster sees soda and shrapnel fly past his ears. And as this is the team's last piece of glass, it's back to basics.
Looks like the only thing left to do is just shoot the sucker point blank.
Actually kind of curious how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, me too. Little pop gun in 3, 2, 1.
Wow!
Wow? Yeah. Not to mention, ow.
You killed him. You tripped all the Shockwatch stickers in his chest. Is this awesome or what? We tripped all 3 of Buster's Shockwatch stickers, which tells us something that we often learn at the end of an episode of Mythbusters. Everyday objects can, in fact, be made lethal if Jamie builds a gun to shoot them.
Obviously, if somebody makes a cannon and fires a soda at you point blank, like I just did, you're gonna die. But a soda thrown out of another car into your car, well, unless you crash the car because of it, not so much. Where does that leave us?
Well, we were able to create a lethal beverage.
Yeah, but it was a can, not a cup, and we did that at point blank range.
Good point. But I have to say that the styrofoam cup beverage, while it would do a lot of damage to your windshield, is not, at a primary level, lethal. That one is totally busted.
Yeah, it's busted.
Our work here is done.
Okay.
Nice gun, but you got some accuracy problems.
Yeah, I need to practice.